Yeah. Where is Gamora? Who is Gamora? Why is Gamora? Now, the obvious joke's out of the way. Let's get on with the actual video. And this is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 Gamora, who really shouldn't have been delayed as long as she was. But she is finally here, thank God. But anyway, let's just get on with the review. Now, the restrictions on postal services in and out of England have sort of lifted a little bit again. So things are starting to come into the country. And yeah, I've got a few things on backlog that are on the way, and hopefully they'll be here within the next week or so. And because I've got so many packages all coming in at the same time, I've had to go on Amazon Prime and order a defibrillator, because when my wife sees all these packages coming in, she's going to have a heart attack or she's going to try and kill me. Either way, that defibrillator is going to come in real handy real soon. But anyway, let's just have a look at the packaging. We can see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Also mixed Volume 2 tape there. There's a little like plastic see-through screen there to show this tape behind. It looks really cool. It actually does give it a little bit of a 3D effect. You've got the Guardians logo with loads of spot gloss on the buttons. We've got a giant speaker here with Gamora's side profile image on there. I still think these are some of the nicest designed Hot Toys boxes we've got for a while. Again, on the side we've got a lovely Guardians of the Galaxy logo there, the code, the design of the speaker on the side there. Come around the back, we can see the Guardians of the Galaxy, all your blurb, more of a lovely speaker design on the side here. Loads of buttons up the top that make it look like a Walkman, and on the bottom it looks like the little feet for the speaker, which is really cool. And then when you take the top of the box off, you've got this slip card inside, and it looks like the internals of a Walkman. All the cast and crew who helped make this figure. I'm still disappointed there's no Lemon Poon on there. Where's Lemon Poon? They need to come back. But then we pull the card off, and inside we can see the figure, just all her stuff. We've got some weapons, guns, just the jetpack from the movie, because this is actually from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. This isn't Endgame, this isn't Infinity War. This is from like a movie 3 years ago, so you can tell this was severely delayed, and there's a little cute Groot just up in the corner here. Okay, while unboxing, I have noticed that there is some plastic just on the forearms here, which means you have to pull the hands off and take those gauntlets off. However, I think I've managed to fix a way so that I've cut down the plastic so that it stays inside, because obviously that's there to protect the rubber somehow from these gauntlets. So I've kept the plastic in there. I've just cut it down so that I can then put these back on, and it should be less intrusive, but also protect the arms as I believe the plastic is supposed to. Okay, and here she is straight out of the box. You can see she comes with her aero rig, an extended and non-extended sword, a different kind of top for a different part of the movie. I think that's her gun from the start of the film, a selection of extra hands, and a baby Groot. Let's have a quick look at baby Groot first. And for a small accessory, he's really nicely painted. I am very impressed by this actually, because it's just so small. Look at the little diddy green paintwork they've done on the top of him there. And they managed to sculpt in all the wood effect and bark design along the back. They've even weathered and dry brushed the bomb. Looks really good, doesn't it? Don't push that one, alright? And you can see it's got some sort of pearlescent, sort of translucent bits on the front here. I think those are the Ambilarilax batteries. The Bowliralilax batteries. Ambilarilax Maximum batteries. Ow! Them things. And he's also quite stable on this stand, although the little black plastic stand does feel a little bit toyish to me. I don't know, it just feels like he looks like he belongs on a World of Warcraft table rather than in your Hot Toys display. The figure itself is very well painted, well sculpted, and very well designed. It's even got glossy eyes, look at that. Okay, and as with all 1/6 scale Hot Toys, she comes with a plethora of hands. She comes with fisted hands, relaxed hands, gripping hands, and a trigger finger hand. Let's just have a quick zoom in on this hand. You can see that it's very nicely painted. All the rings are well painted. I really like that they've been able to do the fingernails on this lady. The last figure I reviewed, the Barber Stanley, his fingernails were practically non-existent. But I'm glad to see that they've actually gone the extra mile on her. Some nice texture in there. Well, there is a severe lack of detail on the back of the hands, but that could be just like the actress. She also comes with extra green wrist pegs. She comes with this sort of quirky, very stretchy lycra jumper. It's very much like it looks in the movie, which is quite cool. Always like it when they actually manage to replicate the movie costumes so well. But I won't be posing her in it, that's for sure. Here is the aero rig. These are pretty cool, to be fair. And they're always one of those things that you could always put on other figures if you so wished, just to make them look a little bit more futuristic and awesome. Look at that shiny chrome paint job on there. It looks very metal despite the fact that it's just plastic. Lots of detail on the back of the jets there. Slight hints of blue and bronze mixed in with all that lovely chrome silver. I do like these, they're very eye-catching. And then she comes with the non-extended sword from the opening of the film. Again, the same silver metal paintwork that they put on the aero rig. And this is it extended. Again, the usual quality detail that you would expect. It's a little bit sharp on top there, so be careful with that. Yeah, very cool. And then finally she comes with a big gun that she uses at the opening of the film to fight that big monster. And it's quite well painted. It's all very, very nicely detailed. See all that sort of spattering and stuff to make it look a bit aged. That looks good. However, if I was to have one criticism about it, they have done better with the weaponry on Guardians of the Galaxy figures previously, especially with characters like, I think it was the first Rocket when he had that big gun, and also with Star-Lord. On the end of here you can see that sort of burn scoring, like carbon scoring or burn marks from the barrel of the gun, sort of blues and purples and stuff, but there's absolutely none on here. It's not a big problem, but I have seen them do better, and I do wish they'd actually put some of that detail on the end here just to add that little bit of extra oomph to the weaponry. And now finally we could say, here is Gamora. Now we will have a closer look at that head sculpt in a minute, but I just want to go over some of the articulation to begin with. That way we can just get it out of the way, and then we can just really admire that head sculpt, because woo, they've been knocking the ladies out of the park recently. Okay, head wise, she can look up about that far, look down about that far. The rubber neck there helps with the articulation. She can tilt her head that far, tilt her head that far, and she can do a full 360 turn. It's gonna mess up the hair. The arms, she can do more than a T pose, get the arms right up. There is bicep swivel. There is a double bend in the elbows, and the hands are on wrist pegs, although this one does have some restriction on it because of the fabric that's been replicated here on the hand, reaching out onto the forearm. She has a fair amount of ab crunch there. She can turn left about that much, turn left about that much. She can lean back really far. She can pose from side to side about that much. Legs go out to about there. Legs can go up to almost 90 degrees. Leg can go back about that far. There is thigh swivel. There is a double bend in the knee just over 90 degrees. However, there is barely to no ankle articulation. Okay, overall, I'm quite surprised with the amount of articulation she has. However, it's all for naught when you look down at her feet, because there is no ankle articulation at all. So therefore, you lose a lot of realism in, like, if you want to put her in like an extreme action pose like this or something, which is really disappointing. She can still pose really well, and I was really surprised by the amount of articulation that she had, considering she is all pleathered up and like full of different layers of clothing. However, again, because of the figure and the fact that they need to use a lot of pleather, it does lose a couple of points, because longevity is not a pleather's friend. But who knows, in many, many years we might have found out that this is like a new kind of pleather, and if you keep it protected and looked after with, say, 303 wipes and things like that, who's to say it won't last a very long time. Okay, well, while we're here, let's go hands-free and have a really good close-up of that head sculpt. Okay, and as we can see, I really like this head sculpt. I think it's fantastic. Look at that. Maybe it's something like the little silver details in here were causing all the problems, you know? You never know. But I really like that they've got the eyeshadow on her eyes. You see all that glossiness. There is a slight sort of vacant stare there, which is a shame. A little bit more expression would have gone a long way. But they sculpted it fantastically and painted it beautifully. You've just got to give it to them. Definitely looks like Gamora and Zoe Saldana completely. You can see that rubber torso. That could have been a problem as well, getting green on rubber, you know. You never know what could have sort of caused the delays. But I think green skin probably isn't an easy thing to achieve. And maybe green rubber isn't that easy either. Look at all the little rivets and studs in that jacket there. That's so cool. And also the details in the coat. Look at all the different textures. From these part to this part to this part to all the pleather. Look how straight the stitching is. You've got to give it to them when they actually do the hard work. It pays off. And you get 1/6 scale movie accurate costumes. They've even put some sort of like dirt marks and sort of aged leather paint on there. They've even put wires in the side of the coat to give you sort of like more expression during the action poses, which is always good. And then you've got the red tips of the hair there with the normal brown up there. You know, it could be an amalgamation of all these things, you know. Getting the red tips there to the brown up there. You'd have to dye this blonde, then re-dye these bits. That kind of thing. That could have taken forever. But again, it's testament to prove that as long as they don't rush it and they produce a good figure in the end, people won't be that bothered. They'll just be happy to have something really nice and high quality in the collection. Look at that belt. They even put some weathering on there. Just come down quickly. That noise there is the plastic of the stand. See, I'm not going to display her with this. I'm going to use my own proprietary stands. Copyright Billy. No, I'm joking. They're not copyrighted at all. I have my own sort of clear perspex stands that I use. And that just helps with the light on the shelves and keeps everything a bit more uniform. But the design's nice. I just wish it had the metal plate again. Those were really nice. Always adds an air of class to these figures, I think. Yeah, I'm so glad to have a Gamora in the collection now. Absolutely. Okay, overall, I have to say Gamora is a fantastic looking figure. She's going to look great on my endgame shelf, and she is probably one of the most impressive females that I now have in my collection. Quality wise, she's definitely up there with Hela and Black Widow from Endgame. Very, very nicely designed, very well painted. The only real gripe I have is them ankles. They really should have figured out some way of getting those ankles to work. Because honestly, it's very hard to pose her without a stand, simply because the feet just ain't going to cut it to keep her stable. Overall, I love the figure. I'm so glad she's in my collection now. And if you do get a chance, pick her up, because I don't know if they're going to do another Gamora ever again. And if they do, how long it's going to be before they release her. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. If you do me a favour now, if you can get the fuck out of my cave, I'm going to put her on the endgame shelf next to Black Widow. And calmly wait for Nebula to arrive. If she ever arrives. Bye bye guys. Okay, and with all 1/6 scale Hot Toys figures, she comes with a plethora of hands. She comes with gripping hands, fisted hands, relaxed hands, and fingering hands. I mean, trigger finger hands. Try that again. And trigger finger hands. And a trigger finger. And trigger finger. And trigger finger. And trigger finger. And gun gripping hands. And trigger finger hands.